sebentar.
Enggak apa-apa, Mbak. Ya, kita mulai aja. Enggak, silakan.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, afternoon, everyone. Let us begin the second session of today's English presentation for the selection of the most outstanding student, Faculty of Law, Universitas Indonesia. Because we already have 3 judges that comes into the Zoom meeting, I believe we can start the session. Now is whose turn is it? Jonathan, are you ready, Jonathan?
Yes, I'm ready. Can I share my screen?
Yes, please. Wait a second.
Can you all see my screen? I'm sorry. Is my screen available to you? I'm sorry, Angga. I've shown my screen. Is it available to you? Can you see the screen?
No, not yet.
Haven't. Not yet.
Okay. Wait. You cannot see the screen. Wait.
Yeah, it's still black.
Now?
Nope, not yet.
I think I have internet connection. Not yet.
Nope.
You cannot see my screen. I've shared my screen.
No, haven't. It's still dark.
Okay, wait. Let me try. I'm sorry. Can you see my screen yet?
Nope.
Not yet.
Unfortunately, no.
Maybe Angga, can you assist to share screen Jonathan file?
Sure. Just send it to me.
Okay. I will send the file to you. Can I ask for your email? I'm so sorry. I think I have internet connection.
I think you can put it in the
chat.
in the chat room. And
Okay.
Di chat room aja.
Is it not available yet? Because I have shared my screen and I have sent you the file.
yeah, I'll give you the email.
Wait, let me try something.
the suggestion from Mbak Input. You can share the file to Mbak Ratu in the WA group.
Okay. Can you see my screen yet? I've changed my connection. Wait. Where is it? Okay. Wait a minute.
Oh yes, we can see it.
It's already.
Okay.
Okay. If the judges are okay, we
I'm so sorry
start.
for the inconvenience. I think my internet is not available.
Okay, it's okay. Technical problems is normal. So if the judges is already available, then we shall begin the session of Yonatan starting from now. I start the timer.
Good afternoon, all honorable judges and friends. My name is Yonatan Wiryaja Willion, and today I will present about Generasi Muda untuk UMKM program as optimization of stimulus soft loan utilization in improving the well-being of village communities in Bali. The SDGs that I brought are SDG number 8 and SDG number 11. The target beneficiaries of this program are UMKM in the handicraft sector in villages in Bali. UMKM itself can be defined as micro, small, and medium enterprises with certain capital and revenue criteria. The government needs to give special attention and help out UMKM in rural Bali because the majority in villagers in Bali work in handicraft sector. Because of pandemic COVID-19, the government has to restrict tourists from entering Bali, resulting in a major decrease in tourists up to 92.45% and a major decrease in international tourists up to 99.99%. Moreover, pandemic has also resulted in decrease in exports of handicrafts and creative industries by up to 90%. All of this resulted in the rise of unemployment rate up to 237.8%. So, if the problem is depicted by a seam, the main problem is that the decrease in demand for handicraft products resulting in businesses close, the unemployment rate increases, income decreases, and welfare decreases. So, the main goal in this program is to increase the demand for UMKM handicraft products so that it can cause a snowball effect and ultimately improve the well-being of the villagers in Bali. To increase the demand and sales of UMKM in handicraft product sector, the government needs to help UMKM to implement sales and marketing through e-commerce. Why e-commerce? Well, e-commerce is an opportunity for UMKM in the handicraft sector to increase their sales because at the present time, especially during the pandemic, there has been a trend of shifting from offline shopping to online shopping. This is proved by sudden increase in online transactions by up to 75% during pandemic era and reaching over 140 million transactions per month with a transaction value of 266.3 trillion rupiah. Then there is already a massive number of e-commerce users in Indonesia, which is up to 65 million and globally reaching 2 billion users. E-commerce is also so massive that e-commerce transactions alone contribute to 3% of Indonesia's GDP. I present several villages that have a huge potential to be developed through this program. The first village is Kaiobi Village. In Kaiobi Village, 68% of the village population works in the bamboo handicraft businesses. Kaiobi Village has 57.78 hectares of bamboo forest and 103 bamboo handicraft businesses. In Kaiobi Village, there are handicrafts such as bamboo woven or anyaman bambu, showcation, and baskets. The second village is Pejanten Village, located in Tabanan, Bali. Whereas 80% of the population work in clay handicraft businesses, and the village also has a source of clay. There are several handicrafts created in this village, such as roof tiles, earthenware or gerabah, and ceramics. The last village is Celuk Village, located in Gianyar, Bali. In this village, 43.79% of the household income comes from the silver handicraft industry. Their UMKM also has successfully created a silver mesh innovation that, if marketed properly and sold through e-commerce, can significantly increase their income. Their handicrafts include jewelry, mirrors, and silver sculptures. Then I also presented you about several success stories from Balinese entrepreneurs who have successfully marketed and sold their products through e-commerce. The first example is Dewa Collection Bali. Dewa Collection Bali has successfully increased its sales by up to 450% during pandemic. Then there is an entrepreneur Joko who managed to sell Balinese motif fabrics or kain Bali up to 400 million rupiah monthly. Several companies in Bali have also started to shift their business from offline selling to start selling online. Some of these cases indicating that if UMKM have sufficient capital, have sufficient access, and have sufficient capabilities, they can increase their sales and revenue significantly through e-commerce. However, there are various obstacles that makes it difficult for UMKM to market and sell their products through e-commerce. The first obstacle is the lack of UMKM that has entered the digital market. Based on the statement from the head of Bali Province UMKM and Korporasi, of 340,000 UMKM in Bali, only 250 UMKM that have entered the digital market. And moreover, the majority of UMKM that have entered the digital market are UMKM in the food and beverage sector through partnership with Gojek and Grab, indicating that UMKM in handicraft sector that enter the digital market are still very rare. The second obstacle is the limited access to the internet, where 20% of Bali area that has not had internet access availability yet. The third obstacle is the lack of digital financial literacy, whereas kris adaptation or QR code adaptation in various regions in Bali is still not implemented equally, such as Buleleng only 6%, Tabanan only 4%, Jembrana only 2%, and so on. This makes it difficult for UMKM to be on board or to enter digital market, as over 40% of online sales are made by electronic payment. The following is a comparison table for UMKM Go Digital program that has been implemented in Bali and Generasi Muda untuk UMKM program. Both of them provide digital market to UMKM. However, there are major upgrades in Generasi Muda untuk UMKM program, where in this program, the UMKM will receive assistance, guidance, technical training related to e-commerce sales, online branding, marketing assistance, and capital assistance. In Bali, UMKM Go Digital only focuses on food and beverage industry, whereas Generasi Muda untuk UMKM program will focus on UMKM in the handicraft sector. Then, Generasi Muda untuk UMKM program will reach a wider scope of UMKM, as the program will employ and empower workers in the tourism sector that has been laid out. Currently, the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy has budgeted as much as 186 billion rupiah to carry out a labor-intensive program or program padat karya that employs 15,000 Bali tourism workers to improve the economy of Bali. I propose an idea to the government to include Generasi Muda untuk UMKM program as one of the labor-intensive programs that has been planned by the government. In short, this program employs the younger generation or Generasi Muda to assist and guide UMKM to optimize the use of their soft loan and their capital so that they can use the loan and their capital to make online sales through e-commerce. Soft loans are government loans with lower interest rates than 3%. Well, currently the government through Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy has budgeted as much as 9.9 trillion rupiah to provide soft loan to UMKM in Bali villages. Because the Generasi Muda untuk UMKM program utilizes both government assistance programs and labor-intensive programs that has been planned by the government, this program is very realistic and implementable. And the target is that the soft loans can become the capital for UMKM to increase their sales through e-commerce. I use smart method to design this program. The first one is specific. This program is specified for UMKM in the handicraft sector in rural Bali. The second one is measurable. The benefits of this program can be measured through the increase of UMKM sales, the unemployment rate, and so on. Achievable, this program is highly achievable because it utilizes two programs that have been planned by the government. Relevant, this program is also very relevant to the current condition of the Balinese people, especially UMKM in rural Bali, where their income has drastically decreased and the unemployment rate has increased drastically due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And the last one is time-bound. This program is also very time-bound because the program is estimated to be completed in 2 to 3 months. Generasi Muda untuk UMKM program is the implementation of law as a tool for social engineering. In this case, the law is a tool in improving the quality of life of the community using social engineering. The first social engineering is that the UMKM in the handicraft sector, whose sales income are very dependent through sales to tourists, will be transformed to focus more on selling through e-commerce. The second one is the payments that were previously made in cash will be converted and will be transferred into cashless electronic payments using KRIS and digital wallets. The third one is local marketing will be transferred into online marketing and through social media. To be able to sell Balinese handicrafts, it is necessary for UMKM to change their product in order to meet the consumer demand expectation. The first change is from the product itself, where the type of products must be adjusted to meet the demand and the expectation from the consumer. UMKM need to convert their products into daily products, consumer products, and daily necessities such as silver masks, plates, vases, necklaces, bracelets, clothes, garments, and so on. Then the price must be adjusted to the purchasing power from the buyer so that UMKM need to lower their prices. There are several approaches to increase sales, which is capital, partnership, and digitalization. The first aspect is capital. Capital can be obtained by UMKM through kredit usaha rakyat, soft loans from the government, and bank loan facility. UMKM is expected to be able to utilize all of this capital properly so that it is used for productive purposes only. The second one is partnership. The partnership that is expected to be created in this program is a chain partnership or pola rantai pasok, where UMKM in villages will create a partnership agreement with advanced production manufacturers, packaging company, export and e-commerce company, also distributors. With partnerships, UMKM can produce handicrafts with prices and quality that meets the consumer demand and purchasing power. To stimulate and support the partnership program, the government will provide tax incentive and ease of licensing to UMKM and partner companies as regulated in UU Cipta Kerja. To implement Generasi Muda untuk UMKM program, first of all, Kominfo through internet service providers in villages has to provide subsidies in the form of providing free internet access and free Wi-Fi to the UMKM. After that, Central Bank, which is Bank Indonesia, will distribute digital wallets and KRIS to UMKM in village. Finally, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy will distribute the stimulus soft loan to UMKM through KRIS and digital wallets. After that, the second stage will be conducted by firstly, the village government in Bali will socialize the Generasi Muda untuk UMKM program and will conduct open recruitment to recruit younger generation. The village government will make a specific time work agreement or PKWT for recruitment where the village government will provide salaries to Generasi Muda as their services in existing UMKM. After that, the village government in partnership with e-commerce company and media creative company will provide training to Generasi Muda with materials regarding marketing and selling through e-commerce. After the training, they will be matched with UMKM in the handicraft industry product, and later Generasi Muda will assist and give guidance to UMKM on how to market and on how to sell their product through e-commerce. There are several assistance materials given by Generasi Muda, including taking and uploading aesthetics products, creating websites, marketing through social media, forming attractive product packaging, setting product prices, creating easy ordering and purchasing, and so on. Finally, UMKM will be able to distribute their handicraft product in partnership with a supply chain pattern or pola rantai pasok through e-commerce and exporting companies to significantly increase their sales and revenue. This is the timeline for the program, where the program will be firstly implemented in the pilot project villages such as Kaiobi Village, Pejantan Village, and Celuk Village, and the implementation itself will be evaluated, and if this program works, it will be implemented in other villages in Bali. There are also several benefits, including increased financial and digital literacy, UMKM sales and revenue increase, the opening of new market shares for UMKM, micro and small enterprises will grow and develop into medium and large enterprises, the decrease of unemployment rate, especially in villages, and will ultimately provide prosperous rural communities. That is all for me. Thank you all for listening.
Okay, that's a very on-time presentation. Thank you, Jonathan. Now we are going to start in judges' question and answer session. Maybe Mbak Dina, would you do the honor for the first question? Mbak Dina. Okay, I think there's a technical problems maybe on Mbak Dina or the connection. Okay, maybe we can start from Baim, Bang Baim.
Okay, Bang. Good morning, Yono. Good morning, good afternoon. It's the same. Good evening. Okay. Thank you, Yono, for the presentation. I only have one question for you. One of the obstacles that you already state is digital literacy. In terms of digital literacy of using e-commerce, what will you do to increase the digital literacy among small and medium enterprise in Bali? Is it only through the volunteers from Generasi Muda untuk UMKM, or is there any special program that the government should implement to help the small and medium enterprise in Bali to become literate towards e-commerce, and not only through assistance from the volunteer of Generasi Muda untuk UMKM? Thank you, Jonathan.
Yes, thank you for the question, Ibrahim. So the other program that can be implemented to increase the digital financial literacy is that Bank Indonesia will distribute and implemented digital wallets and KRIS to all UMKM in villages, so that UMKM had digital wallets and KRIS which were be used to provide cashless and electronic transaction services. This has been an objective to the bank, central bank, to implement and to speed up the implementation of digital wallets and KRIS to all villages in Bali. So my suggestion to Bank Indonesia is that in pilot project in this program, Bank Indonesia should speed up and accelerate the implementation of digital wallets and KRIS to the certain villages. Is that answer your question, Ibrahim? Or you have
another question? How will you bring out your ideas to solve this problem, the digital literacy problem, from your that you already said to Central Bank of Indonesia, but how will you bring out your ideas to them so they will do what you said? Thank you.
Okay, of course. What can I do to convince Central Bank or Bank Indonesia to implement is I will make maybe a proposal to the Central Bank and the proposal to the Kominfo to implement this program, because this program includes several stakeholders, including Kominfo, Kemenparekraf, Central Bank, and village government. So in order to implement this program, I will send the proposal and I will explain about what is the benefit and what is the disadvantage of this program, also the timeline, because this program benefits in the long term for the UMKM, not just in the pandemic area, because if they can market and they can sell their product through e-commerce, in the long term, after the pandemic, they will receive a wider market share, and they can receive revenue not just from the tourists. I think that is how I convince Bank Indonesia to send the proposal.
Okay, thank you, Bang. One last question. What if the proposal that you've been suggest to Central Bank Indonesia is rejected by the government? And is there any method to solve this problem besides from the volunteer of Generasi Muda untuk UMKM? Thank you, Jonathan.
Yes, of course. There is an alternative solution. If the Bank Indonesia doesn't receive my proposal, it can be the increase in digital literacy can be increased by partnership between UMKM to implement digital wallets and to implement QR code by joint venture, so that UMKM will be patungan or will create a joint venture to maybe buy the infrastructure, or maybe create an QR code to the villages, so that the villages can participate in digital market without the participation of Bank Indonesia. However, this will cost the village some money. So I think the most effective way is that the Bank Indonesia will implement the CRIS and QR code. However, if it is not, I think UMKM can partner with another UMKM to implement the digitalization itself.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. That's all, Bang Angga. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question, Bang Baim. Ibu Dina, will you have the honor to ask a question to Jonathan?
Oh, okay. A moment. Okay. Jonathan, I'm so sorry I missed your presentation. And quite honestly, I didn't fully read your paper, not only yours, but all papers. But from your paper, I could not really follow how you reached the conclusion that rantai pattern was the best pattern for this UMKM in Bali. Did you do the same research using different patterns? So you had this conclusion that rantai pasok was the most suitable for the program. Could you please elaborate on that?
Yes, thank you, Budino, for the question. So there are several journals indicating that the partnership, especially in pola rantai pasok, has resulted in the increase of sales in UMKM and has resulted in UMKM creating various products that can be marketed internationally. For example, let me see in Jawa Timur, studies entitled Development of the Partnership Models for MSME with the Medium and Large Scale Enterprises in East Java through Corporate Social Responsibility Program provides the conclusion of the development in terms of partnership relations between UMKM and medium and large scale enterprises can advance the economy and the market share of the UMKM itself in East Java. So that this partnership has already been implemented in East Java and in various other places in Indonesia, and it has been proved that this partnership can increase the sales and can increase the revenue, and UMKM can receive the technology so that they can create various products and various innovations that meets the market expectations in the in products and prices. So I suggest to government to create this pola rantai pasok to increase the sales and revenue in UMKM in Bali. So there are several studies and there are several journals that support my argument.
Okay. Have you considered investigating other pattern or other pola?
Yes. Ms. Dina, I already see that there are 6 and more patterns in PP number 7, year 2021, and I think partnership with Pola Rantai Pasok is the most suitable partnership to be implemented here, because UMKM in Bali, especially in handicraft sector, doesn't have the access to distribute their product through e-commerce, doesn't have the packaging abilities, doesn't have the abilities to package their product to meet the consumer needs. So I think this will improve, and this will improve UMKM products so that they can distribute it and they can market it more with ease and optimal.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan.
Okay, Mbak Dina, is there any more question to push from Jonathan? No. Okay, thank you very much for the question. Maybe we can follow on to the next judge, Pak Ari Afriansyah. Will you do the honor to ask question to Jonathan?
Okay, thank you, Angga. Jonathan, congratulations until this stage, yeah. And I've read your paper and also listened to your presentation. However, I just have 2 clarifications. First one, how can you make Bali as one of your let's say showcase that your idea can be implemented? That's the first one. The second one, whether supply chains issue is something that really matters in terms of the small and medium enterprise problems in Indonesia.
Thank you, sir, for the question. So the reason why I choose the province of Bali, because Bali is the area that is most affected by COVID-19, where the majority of their residents and their populations very dependent on the tourism sector, where in 2019 Bali contributed 40% of tourism foreign exchange or the visa dari turis. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been a drastic decrease in number of tourists, so that the employment rate has increased by more than 3 times. So there needs to be a government attention to help Balinese people in increasing their economy and income. And I choose UMKM in handicraft sector because UMKM in handicraft sector has a market, has a large market in Indonesia, because it can distribute their products throughout all Indonesia and internationally. They can export it to maybe Malaysia, or they have a huge market for that. Not like maybe food and beverages that has an expiry date. So I think this is a huge potential to be, if this handicraft product can be marketed and can be sold through e-commerce, this can be increase the income and the revenue of the UMKM in handicraft sector. And that is the reason why I choose Bali, because it is the most affected by COVID-19, and there is a huge potential in marketing and in selling their handicraft product. And the second question is, is it really important, the supply, the rantai, pola rantai pasok, supply chain pattern? Well, I think this is quite important to help the UMKM to distribute and to enter digital market, because with the help of corporation, they can know what the market wants, and they can convert their products to meet the consumer expectations, such as maybe transforming their handicraft to daily available products, such as mungkin maybe kain Bali is transported to clothes and garments and so on. However, if this partnership with supply chain pattern doesn't go, and the government doesn't create this partnership, it is okay for the program, because the program itself doesn't require the partnership. The partnership is just a supporting factor so that the UMKM can market their product digitally. That is all for me.
So you mean they can be more independent this own?
I'm sorry, sir.
So you think that with your
Without,
can you hear me now?
Yes. If I want to clarify, so without the partnership, is this program can be implemented and will run in the future? Is that your question?
I'm asking about whether your proposal can make more independent business owner. Is my voice breaking up?
Yes. I'm sorry. I can quite hear your questions.
Maybe I will on the chat maybe later. Then talks.
Hello. I think there's a bit of technical problems. Maybe Pak Ari, if you want to ask question, you can ask in the chat room, and I can read it for everyone. If you okay with that.
Sorry, do you mean?
Yeah,
Not quite really, because I included some partnerships in the proposal, meaning that I view the partnership between UMKM to maybe big corporation, or between UMKM to another UMKM, is an important factor to increase the revenue and sales, and to create digitalization in UMKM itself. So I think they are not more independent, because they can be dependent to other UMKM. However, yes, it creates an independent business owner, in the sense that they don't have to rely on the tourism sector no more, because as we know, tourists in Bali is quite no more, because there has been decrease up to 92 until 99%. So there is no tourist UMKM in the handicraft sector cannot rely in selling their products to tourists again. So they have to rely on someone, on somewhere else. I give innovation, an idea for them to rely their business to e-commerce, with 65 million users in Indonesia, I think that's a big market for them to sell and market their product in e-commerce, not in tourism sector again. However, in the near future, maybe if the pandemic is over and the tourist has come to the Bali again, the UMKM will also receive another stream of revenue from e-commerce. So they have two stream of revenue. Is that answer your question, Mr. Ari? Okay, no problem, sir.
Ari, do you have any? Oh, okay, that's enough from Ari. Ari said in the chat room. So we're going next to the next judges. Ibu Felon, would you do the honor to ask question?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Angga. Jonathan, could you please explain the theory of the law as social engineering?
Yes, in short, law as social engineering is law as a tool to socially engineer or to change the old value in the villages or old value in the people to the new value. For example, in this program, the value of selling offline or selling to tourism will be socially engineered and will be changed and will be transformed to selling through e-commerce. And the second one is the culture of using cash as a payments will be transformed to using Kris and digital wallet, so that they can enter the digital market more easily. And the third one is in marketing, whereas previously villages in Bali market their product locally, will be transformed in marketing through social media and online. So the law itself, it connects the bridges between the two transformation and hope to change the old value to the new value. I also included cybernetica theory by Talcott Parsons, namely adaptation, goal pursuance, pattern maintenance, and integration. Whereas if these four phases is done, the social engineering will be implemented more successfully.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. And then next one, when I came to Denpasar, Bali, about 3 years ago, the local government told me that they had started selling the UMKM products digitally. I'm wondering why you employ this theory, regarding that fact that they already started selling the UMKM products digitally. What do you think about that?
Yes. Thank you for the question. So yes, Bali itself has a program called UMKM Go Digital. However, in recent studi kepala UMKM dan koperasinya, he said that in 340,000 UMKM, only 250, not 250,000, only 250 UMKM that has successfully go to digital market. So the percentage is less than 1 in 1,000 UMKM. So I think this also in the 250 UMKM, most of them is in food and beverages sector in partnership with Gojek and Grab. So I think maybe it has created a UMKM Go Digital, but the implementation is not effective yet. So I propose this idea in order to empower and employ the tourist workers that has been laid off, or that has been laid off, to work again in order to assist the UMKM to sell their products in digital market. And this data that I received, 250 out of 340,000 is in the reason is in April 2021. So it is a reason that.
Okay, thank you. The last one. What can you do as a university student in implementing your idea? Could you please explain concrete action? Yeah.
Maybe the concrete action that I can do is actually the government has planned on launching the labor intensive program, or program padat karya, that has allocated 186 billion rupiah to employ 15,000 tourism workers in Bali. So I try to include my program in this program padat karya, in this labor intensive program that has been planned by the Kemenparekraf. So I will maybe give proposal to Kemenparekraf so that they can see that there is benefits, long-term benefits in this program that can accelerate and speed up the digitalization in villages in Bali, because the digitalization of village itself, it has been regulated in Permen Desa number 6 year 2020. So it is the implementation of the Permen Desa 6 year 2020. So my concrete action is give proposals to Kemenparekraf and maybe give an idea to Kemenparekraf so that they can include this program to their labor incentive program that has been planned by Kemenparekraf.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Mr. Angga.
Okay, we still have 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Is there anyone, any judges that want to give a further question to Jonathan? Maybe Ibu Dina or Pak Ari? We still have 4 minutes.
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Ibu Dina atau Bang Baim? Any further question for Jonathan?
Maybe if there is no other question, maybe I want to elaborate more on my answer previously. So this program is very much implementable, and because the government has created program padat karya or labor intensive program. So I want to give an idea to Kemenparekraf, especially to implement program Generasi Muda untuk UMKM as one of their labor incentive program. And if this is implementable or not is dependent on the initiative from the Kemenparekraf, whether or not they want to receive my idea or not. I think that is all for me.
Okay, we still have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If there's no one from the judges that want to ask for the question, can I take it as the judge has already waived the time to ask question? Or is there any question? Maybe Budina. I see Budina opening the camera. Okay, no questions. So is it okay if I take it the judge has already waived the time to ask?
Yes, thank you very much for the judges and for the questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Jonathan. That was a good presentation. We're going next to the second or the final contestant, the second finalist for today. Nurul, are you ready?
I am, Bang Angga, thank you.
Right. Just set up your screen sharing and I set up my timer.
Okay, I have shared my screen. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yep, it's visible.
Awesome.
Okay. Can we begin, the judges? Is it okay for us to begin the next session with Nurul?
Yes.
All right.
Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Ibu Falen. All right, Nurul, you can start your presentation. Start from now.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, the honorable judges, the committee, and also my beloved friends. My name is Nurul Zamzami. Please call me Nurul. And today I'll be presenting about gender mainstream for sustainable ocean economy. Before starting my presentation, I would like for us to have a clear understanding on where we stand on this topic and also the reasons why I chose this topic. For me, there are three reasons why I specifically chose this topic. Firstly, I noticed that there is an incoherence between marine potential of Indonesia and the fisher's wealth among the Indonesian people. As a maritime country, of course, we have a lot of marine potentials. We have the second largest coast after Canada, and which means we also have a lot of body of the water that we can use for the betterment of the people. Making sense of that, of course, understandably, the fishers should be one of the people who are the most wealthy because they're working in the marine sector. However, the fact is that the Indonesian fishers are one of the poorest people in Indonesia, even up to this day. So clearly there has been an incoherence between the potential that we have and the fisher's wealth, which is not much. And secondly, I chose this topic because I would like to represent the marginalized group. I thought about topics that are close to me, that are close to people around me. However, the fact remains that considering my background, the topics that I have chosen are stuff that have been discussed and they are stuff that have been taken care of by the government. Therefore, I would like to use this platform to amplify the struggles of the people who are not yet represented enough in Indonesia. And last but not least is the principle of intragenerational equity. This principle dictates that equity should be attained by everyone within the generation, regardless of class, gender, religion, race, and so on and so forth. Therefore, I believe that this is important for us to discuss the equity and also the wealth of the fisherwoman in Indonesia, because otherwise we wouldn't have been successful in implementing the principle of intragenerational equity. So afterwards, we believe that there are several issues, mainly 2 points, that underlie our discussion today. Firstly, is gender-based discrimination experienced by the fisherwoman in Indonesia? And also, secondly, regarding the poverty. I believe that in order to alleviate poverty, we also need to work hand in hand with the fisherwoman. We cannot attain wealth, we cannot be free from poverty without lifting the women up from the poverty as well, which is why I believe that this topic is important to discuss. Now, seeing from the perspective of SGD, there are 2 relevant SGDs in the scope of our discussion. First, of course, is the gender equality, and the second is life below water. Gender equality, as I've written, is one of the core principles of sustainable ocean economy, which is equitable prosperity. This is similar to intragenerational equity, which dictates that in order for us to prosper, everyone needs to prosper. A country cannot state that they are prosperous if several groups within their society are still struggling. At the end of the day, if we have proven ourselves to be successful with the mechanism, who will benefit the most with the program? Firstly, of course, the fisherwoman. I believe that when this program is implemented successfully, we will be able to lift the fisherwoman up by giving them access and equal benefits compared to those of the fishermen. And at the end of the day, when the fisherwomen are benefited, when the fisherwomen are given access, at the end of the day, the Indonesian fishermen will also benefit because it will prosper economically at a national level. Moving forward, let's identify the potentials. Why do I believe that in order for us to alleviate fishermen from poverty, we need to also encourage fisherwomen and also give them access? There are 4 reasons why. First is that fisherwomen are active contributors in the marine sector. The fact is that fisherwomen make up 40% of workers in Indonesian fisheries and marine. This is the fact in the year of 2020. So essentially, even though we might not be aware of the contribution of fisherwomen, they make up almost half of the fisheries in Indonesia. This is proven by their massive potentials, in which traditional fisherwomen contribute hundreds of millions US dollars per year for Indonesia. And within their families, they support 48% of the family income. This means that fisherwomen have an important stance within the society and within their families. There are 2 more reasons. Even though these fisherwomen have been proven to be beneficial for the society and also for their family, they're still experiencing a lack of recognition. This is because their work, which is to also collect fish, which is to process them and also to sell them in the markets, are merely seen as her job as housewives. So this work, if done by fishermen, would be deemed as real work and therefore would be paid and would be compensated financially for it. When done by fisherwomen, people see it as, oh, well, that's because they are the housewives of the fishermen. So when they're doing this job, this is not a real job for them. They're simply helping their fisherman husband. So this causes a hindrance to access because the fisherwomen are not recognized. They're not able to access all the benefits that a regular fisherman are able to, such as capacity building measures from the government and also financial support. This means that they have low wages and they're very highly prone to job loss because, especially during the pandemic, they're not able to hold a stable job. A case example for this is in Tambak Polo, where the fisherwomen are not able to attain a kartu nelayan or a fisherman card that will help them give access towards benefits that the fishermen are given by the government. Next. Sorry, I think my screen is experiencing an error. However, we would like to move towards the next point, which is that after identifying the potentials. Hello?
No. I'm pausing your time right now.
Okay.
I give you several couple of seconds to try figuring out your screen problems.
Thank you. Okay, this should be figured out right now. I'm screen sharing again. Is this visible?
Yes, okay. I start the timer again. You may begin.
Thank you. My apologies for the hiccups. After recognizing all the issues previously, now the next question is, what has the government done to alleviate and to solve this problem? The Ministry of Marine and Fishery has released the Ministerial Regulation number 28 in 2016. So the topic of it is a guideline for implementing gender-responsive policies in monitoring and evaluation. Let me explain to you what gender-responsive policies are and what gender mainstreaming is. So essentially, gender mainstreaming means creating a system in which every program and every policy has a gender perspective in its goal and also in its criteria. When a government and when a body of government has mainstreamed gender, it means that they have considered that women and men experience different struggles and therefore they need different help in order to attain the same goal. So even though this is a good step, there are still 3 issues underlying the ministerial regulation. First is in the aspect of data and analysis. In the collecting the data, the government process from the region up until the national level. This is a highly layered process, and along the way, the recapitulation often is not the best. Because of the overly layered process, there are many facts and there are many data that are often missing and therefore not accounted for. And therefore, during the analysis, which is highly dependent on the data, they fail to consider a lot of factors. Secondly, this gender mainstream stops midway. When there has to be continuous watching, continuous supervision, they only stop after the plan is done. And when during the execution, we no longer continue following up. The last issue is the reduction of the meaning of the program. The issue of gender is a structural one. Therefore, it needs to be solved at the structural level. However, the programs that the government has been releasing are often simply short-term, and therefore they are in no way capable of solving the issues at hand. This has been proven by the simple fact that this regulation has been out since 2016, which was 5 years ago, and up until now, we are still experiencing the same problem. So after recognizing the status quo, what do I propose here? My proposal is to implement a gender perspective policies with specific criteria and a continuous evaluation as mandated by the ministerial regulation. The way I would do this is in 3 steps. First is through preparation. This will involve all stakeholders involving the government, the civil society, and of course the fisherwomen, and also the socialization in order to engage all the Indonesian people. Second is the execution, in which the criteria that I have proposed will be used as a reference for the program building in order to create a structural change. And last but not least, the most importantly is evaluation that is both parallel and final, which means that it will be continuous and it will also evaluate at the end of the day to compare the situation prior and after the program is implemented.
4 minutes left.
Thank you, Bang Angga. So for my solution can be defined by 2 prongs. Firstly is determining criteria, and secondly, involving NGOs. The criteria I propose are 4. First is to have a supportive environment for the fisherwoman. So any policy needs to create a supportive environment that help the woman to attain their goal. And second is a gender perspective from the lawmakers, which can be attained through education. Third is equal access to fisheries, and last but not least is management, in which fisherwomen are allowed to control their own businesses. The second prong, which is involving the NGOs, can be used in 2 ways. First, during the data collection and analysis, and last, during the evaluation. We believe that this will help the issue at hand because the NGOs are often closer towards the fisherwoman and they have more real actual data compared to the government. Therefore, when we're able to have actual data, we'll have a better and sharper analysis that will in turn create create policies that actually solve the problems. Of course, the targets at hand, I believe, are specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic, and time-bound, because specifically we're targeting fisherwomen, and we can have measurements such as the 4 criteria I proposed, and they involve the government with a program that has existed. And last but not least, it's time-bound because the program has different periods, and they will be reported every semester. Afterwards, the roadmap will pretty much look like this. Firstly, after conducting a research and accumulating as much knowledge as possible, we will propose a recommendation to the Ministry of Marine and Fisheries. Afterwards, there will be coordination among us as recommender, the ministry, and also the regional government as the party who will implement the regulation. Afterwards, when it passes, the program will be executed. So we will be going through the data collection, criteria analysis, up until reporting. Afterwards, hopefully, this will become the ministerial regulation, and this will be the new regulation that becomes the official reference for a more institutionalized gender perspective. This program, of course, has several opportunities and several hindrances. The opportunity is that we're not building something that is entirely new. This is a program that has already existed and we're building on it so that it becomes better. We also have a lot of active participation from the NGOs, and we also have a massive oceanic potentials. However, realistically, there are also hindrances to this program, which I believe is completely avoidable if we do it well. First, in the social and cultural norms that are often still implementing double standards. And also, within the government itself, there has been understanding which can still be solved through education. At the end of the day, the judges, committee, and my beloved friends, I believe that the end result we're trying to attain here can be attained by 4 concrete criteria and an NGO involvement. The goal is a structural change, which cannot be solved by short-term programs, but rather a structural commitment and change. At the end of the day, I believe that this commitment can only be implemented well if the Ministry of Marine and Fisheries, as the most governing body in the aspect of marine, can integrate gender perspective in their policies. This sums up my presentation. Thank you, and I'm now open for questions.
Okay, Nurul, you have 30 seconds if you want to add a little bit of something.
None from me, Bang Angga. Thank you so much. I would like to move to questions and answer, if that's okay.
All right. Maybe I'm going to give Bang Ari the first honor to raise question to you, because I think this is Bang Ari, Pak Ari expertise.
Thank you. Oh, okay. So I have seen 3 questions from Bang Ari in the chat box. I will try to answer it one by one. The first question is, how could gender mainstreaming improve the economy of fishers community? Do you have statistical data to support this claim? I will go through the questions first before answering them one by one, if that's okay. Second, how do you convince within the fishers community to have gender equality? Do you have options of actions to face the challenges? And last but not least, is the ministerial regulation enough to implement your ideas? Thank you so much for the sharp questions, Bang Ari. The first question, how could gender mainstreaming improve the economy of fishers community? Do you have statistical data to support this claim? The short answer is yes. And there has been a lot of research. Unfortunately, this has been done not a lot in Indonesia, but rather in other maritime countries. So the fact is that, as I have stated before, the fisherwomen contribute so much to the economy. They're half of the power of the fishermen in Indonesia. They have contributed hundreds of $millions in Indonesia annually, and even then is already achieved without help or without enough access given by the government. So imagine if without access they have already been achieving this much, imagine what they could achieve if they are given the same access of fishermen. So that is why I believe that when women, fisherwomen specifically, are given access, especially such as access to capacity building measures, access to financial assistance, or access in terms of tools and so on and so forth, they will be able to generate more wealth to the people and to the government. So yes, to answer it briefly, I believe that gender mainstreaming could improve the economy of the fishers community, because gender mainstreaming equals giving women access. And when women are given access, they will be able to generate more financial help towards the economy of Indonesia and also the fisheries in general. Moving to the second question, how do I convince the fisher community to have gender equality? Regarding the challenges, what are the options to face this? Of course, this is a valid question, because at the end of the day, it has been hard and it has been a difficult journey for the traditional community to accept that women have more role in the society rather than simply being housewives of the fishermen. However, the way I would portray it is to ensure that the access given to these fisherwomen will not take away their role as housewives or as or the roles that they already have within the society. This will include a lot of learning and will also include a lot of socialization. I believe that people learn best by seeing and by watching. So what I would do is firstly give these women access, and then make sure that after they are given access, they will benefit from it and they will be able to help their family more and lift their family out of poverty. When that happens, I believe that the understanding will also follow as well. When the fishermen and when the community sees what the fisherwomen are capable of doing when given equal access, they will finally see that it's not a bad thing. It is, in fact, a really positive thing for a fisherwoman to be able to have agency for themselves. So the option, to put it shortly, are two things. Firstly, through education, and secondly, through real actions, which is giving them access and seeing themselves grow, and then letting the society see for themselves and therefore change their mindset in return. The last question, is the ministerial regulation enough to implement your ideas? It will help a lot, because that would mean when we have ministerial regulation, it will be a huge umbrella that will cover up the national level. However, to put it crudely, it will not be enough, because it will still have to be implemented in the regional areas. This is also true in the current gender mainstreaming, because they are more or less implemented by the government of the regions. So to put it simply, having the ministerial regulation will help a lot, but it cannot be the only pillar that we have to assist fisherwomen in being equal with fishermen. Thank you, Bang Ari. I hope that answers your questions. Please feel free to ask follow-up questions. Thank you, Bang Ari.
Thank you. Bang Ari, do you have any further questions? Enough for now. Okay. Okay, Nurul, we're going to the next judges. Maybe Mbak Dina, Ibu Dina, would you do the honor to ask questions to Nurul?
Okay. Just short question. This is just out of my curiosity. Could you tell me a little more about your own perspective on gender mainstreaming?
Thank you, Marina, for the question. I'm afraid the answer will not be short at all. But my perspective on gender mainstreaming is that it is the manifestation of equitable prosperity. So, to put it simply, when we have gender mainstreaming, when gender is seen as quote unquote mainstream, when it is considered as one of the factors that have to be considered at all times in creating policies, only then we will be able to lift up half of the society, which are the women. And when we are able to empower half the society, which have been contributing so much without being recognized, only then will we be able to prosper equitably, as is mandated by the Sustainable Ocean Economy, a principle that Indonesia at large, especially the president, has stated over and over again that we are trying to implement. So at the end of the day, I believe that the gender mainstreaming is something that is absolutely vital in order for us to prosper equitably as a nation.
Okay, so do you have any plan to go for a field trip to find out the underlying problems?
I would love to. Marina.
Okay, so if so, where would that be?
Anywhere I would be placed, honestly, because the unique thing about this fisherwoman issue is that it is a national one. It is it exists everywhere, from the east to the west, and even in Java itself, which could be considered as one of the most forward island in Indonesia. So to me, I would be, however, interested to see the people and the fisherwomen in Tambak Polo, because it's in Jawa Tengah, and
North coastal.
It's in the coastal. Yeah, it's right here. It will be close to my home because I am from Surakarta, and I think I will be able to connect with them better on the basis that we speak Japanese. So yeah, but anywhere would be good. Anywhere in Indonesia.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Nurul, for your answers.
Thank you, Medina, for the questions.
Medina, any further question to be asked to Nurul?
No, that's it. That's
Okay.
enough for me.
All right.
Thank you, Badina.
Nadina. Okay, Bang Baim, do you want to ask question to Nurul?
Okay, Bang. That's Bang. For the opportunity. Good morning, lah ya Nurul. How
Good
are you?
afternoon, Baim. I'm good. How are you?
Okay, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
What is the direct impact of having an access to cartoon nelayan for the fisherwoman that you have mentioned earlier in your presentation and in your
Mhm.
paper? Will this fisherwoman have a direct impact regarding their economy? In essence, what are the benefits that they will receive from having an access to cartoon nelayan? And secondly, and the second one is, how can you bring out the ideas of this project to the government? And what will you do if the government decided to reject your proposal? And what can you do as a student, as mahasiswa, to solve this problem? Thank you, Nurul. That's all, Bang Angga.
Thank you for the question, Baim. I'll try to answer them one by one. Yeah. So from the first question, this is a big thing. What are the impacts of having access to Karton Lion? Because obviously I have framed it as if it's a big thing. Will they have a direct impact or benefits? The short answer is that yes, they will have a direct impact to the fisherwoman. However, it is not enough to be the only help that is given from the government to the fisherwoman. So from the ministry regulation regarding the fisherman cart or kartu nelayan, they do not specifically describe what the benefits are. They generally describe it as having benefits to access, to capacity building, and also to financial support from the government. However, even just all the three things that I have mentioned previously will immensely help the fisherwoman currently, because right now the fisherwomen are supporting themselves through loans. So they are taking loans from their friends from the bank in order to have the tool and in order to keep their businesses going. This, of course, is not sustainable, right? Because if any business is supporting themselves from loan, they keep digging and then covering up holes every time, they will not be able to prosper enough to profit enough in order to lift themselves up from poverty. So with Kartu Nelayan, they'll be able to have the tools and it will be there, so they will not have to loan and to take loans anymore. And they will also have capacity to access the financial help from the government. So these all will help for short term. And it will have a direct impact on them because they will be able to conduct business more sustainably. However, as I've previously stated, it is far from enough as the only support from the government. At the end of the day, we need a structural change in which the government recognize onwards that they need to include the fisherwomen in their policies so that they are able to prosper more in the future and to have a longevity in their prosperity. So that's for the first question. For the second question, which is also solid in my opinion, how to bring out the government to ensure that they will implement this program. And what if they simply reject this program, right? And then afterwards, what can I do as a student? To me, this is also a concern that I also have when I decided to have a policy recommendation as my proposal. However, although we do have valid concerns on why the government could possibly reject or simply never discuss this topic, I believe that we also have valid and strong reasons to believe that the government is putting this at their forefront of mind and that they're going to implement this. Firstly, because this is a program that already exists and has been implemented in the society. So to me, this is already an evidence, a proof of commitment from the government that they are taking care, that they pay attention to gender mainstreaming, and that they want to ensure that gender equality is achieved in Indonesia. Although, of course, clearly the implementation has not been the best. But so to reiterate my statement, I believe that we have valid reasons and we have strong reasons to believe that the government is going to look positively into this policy recommendation, because we are simply building on the program that they have been making. We're not going to start from scratch. And secondly, if push comes to shove, as a student, if they do not accept this policy recommendation, what will I do? As a student, of course, my capacity is in the world of academia. So what I can do are two things. First, I will try to seek for opportunities, as Badina has also implied in her question, to do a field trip or to be involved in groups that conduct researches on the fishermen and their well-being. To me, it's important to have data and to have solid analysis, so that when anytime the government decides that, okay, we are trying to do this, they will be able to just simply reach out to the academia and ask for the analysis. And secondly, of course, is to help directly. I believe that people have the capability to help, be it big or small. So the way I would do it is I would amplify the struggles of the fisherwoman, be it from my social media or be it by being involved in the groups around me that are supporting the causes of fisherwomen. So those are my my answers to your questions, but I hope that answers the question. Feel free to ask for more.
Thank you, Nurul, for the answer. That's all, Bang Angga. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Baim.
Okay, thank you, Baim. We're going to have Mbak Fallon. Will you have a question to Nurul?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Aga. Miss Nurul, yeah, that your research is very wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I did research about fishermen in Kupang a few years ago. Yeah, and then I did the research. The research was for 1 month. Yeah, but I found different facts. Actually, the fishermen, they get lots of money every time they go to sea. However, the problem is they cannot manage their money. So what do you think about this?
Thank you for your question, Baffelin. So apparently there is a new fact that these fishermen are not poor because they are not able to sell a lot of fish, but rather because they have a poor management of their finances. I think this does not negate the issue that we have at hand. I think it's not one or the other. The issue of poverty in general can exist both because they have a poor management of their finances, which to me can also be associated to how the society as a whole has not been built to ensure that people have the best access and the best measures to control their finances. And second, to me, after a poor management, I also do still think that the lack of gender equity is also contributing towards the fact that these management still exist poorly. To me, both could be related because although I do not involve this in my presentation, I found that fisherwomen have been proving themselves to be the one who are street smart. They are the ones who have been conducting a lot of measures to protect the environment. They are the ones who have been growing mangroves, and they're the ones who have been creating systems among themselves to ensure that the money that they have can be loaned to other people and then could also be used for themselves whenever they need it. So they have a system of a cash pool in whenever they need to do it. So this is, of course, not to say that the fishermen are all inherently lazy and bad at money management. Of course, not at all. But to me, I just would like to imagine that had women been viewed as equal with men in the sector of marine and the sector of fisheries, they would be given more power as well to control the finances and to have a big role in deciding where the money will go and where the money will be kept. So I believe that when these women who have been proven to be doing such a great job in protecting the environment and also earning for themselves, if they are given the same power to have the decision on where the money goes and where it doesn't, I believe that this issue of a poor financial management would not be such a huge problem anymore. So at the end of the day, Mbak Fallon, to put it simply, I do think those are related.
Okay, that's good. Uh, if we're talking about fishermen, yeah, actually there are two kinds of fishermen: traditional fishermen and modern fishermen. When you're talking about the gender-based discrimination, are you talking about traditional fishermen or modern fishermen?
Traditional, Mbak Fallon. Thank you.
Okay, so if we talk about traditional fishermen, yeah, their boats are small. It is maybe only enough for 2 person and the equipment. There is no toilet. Meanwhile, they have to go sailing for days. What would be your idea to deal with the gender-based discrimination problem and the safety of the fisherwoman?
Thank you for the question, Mbak Fallon. So, of course, this is a concern that, firstly, not only that fisherwomen are experiencing discrimination from the fishermen, but also their status as traditional fisherwomen is also dangerous for them because they're going up against the modern fishermen who have so many tools and have so many resources to catch more fish. So to me, the solution of this would be, again, going back to my statement, the problem of alleviating poverty goes hand in hand with solving gender inequality. So when we're talking about the imbalance between modern and traditional fishers, we will also be addressing the fisherwoman as well. What I mean to say by this is that when we are taking care of this traditional fishermen and fisherwomen by giving them more tools, for example, by giving them financial support in order for them to be able to profit enough until they eventually are capable of buying better ships and better resources, I believe that when we are doing this, we're helping not only fishermen, but also fisherwomen. So what I would like to highlight is that the issue of gender is not merely women have to be equal with men and so on and so forth. The core of the gender equality to me is intersectionalism, in which what I mean by that is that the issue of gender is also issue of finances. It's also issues of politics. It's also issues of law. So helping women does not simply mean, oh, we are going to say that women are equal with men, but also that we're going to create policies that support poor people, that support fishermen, traditional fishermen, because these policies will also in a way help the fisherwoman. Therefore, this feminism becomes intersectional. So I believe that the way we can help this is by, of course, assisting them in giving them access to financial tools, financial assistance, and also for the tools and resources needed for them to be able to compete with the modern fishers. I hope that answers their question, Buffalo.
Okay, that's a very good answer. Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you, Nurul. Thank you, Angga, for the opportunity.
Okay, Ellen, there's no more question from Ellen, and we still have 8 minutes and 13 seconds. Maybe any other judges that want to drill a bit more to Nurul? Maybe Bang Ari? Or Mbak Im? Or Mbak Dina? We still have 8 minutes. Okay, Bang Ari said he's good. Mbak Dina, is there any more question? Or Bang Baim? Can I take the silence as the judges has already waived the rights to ask question? Okay, let's conclude it that way. Thank you, Nurul. That was a great presentation.
Thank you so much, Bang Angga.
And this will be the last finalist for today's, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let me check to Mbak Iput or Bang Gun. Bang Gun, is it? This is the last name?
Yes, this is the last for today.
Okay, thank you very much, Nurul, for the great presentation.
Thank you so much.
You can see there's a lots of what is it called? Appreciation from the stickers in the participants column.
Yes,
Okay.
I do love her idea.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Pavelin, coming from you.
Okay, then we should wrap up, right, Bang Bun? And continue tomorrow, right?
Yes, continue tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Okay, thank you, Nurul, and thank you for the judges that already come here and doing the judging. We really appreciate it. For today, the selection, the English presentation for today is finished. We're going to be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the morning for another 5 finalists going to present tomorrow. So let's end this session by saying Alhamdulillah. Thank you, God, for giving us time in doing all of this. And I hope everyone is staying healthy. Please be healthy, everyone. And because during this pandemic, it's quite hard to be healthy. And then thank you for coming. I close the session for now. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Angga.
thank you,
all the
Angga. Thank
judges.
you,
See
Thank you,
tomorrow.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Dan for today ya.
Yes.
Maybe
Besok
Mas Cep di stop
Mas
dulu
Cep
Mas.
jangan lupa live